coming back to the next and most interesting question, which most of the people love to hear about from you specifically. When it comes to the investment, I do angel investing, it's fine, but I'm not a real investor. For me, investment is like, if the founder is good, I'm in, right? If the founder is not good, if he has an attitude, if he has not a good speaking skills or all of these things, I'm out. Okay, it's a very straightforward for me, right? But when it comes to the venture investing, which you guys do in your day-to-day activities, and that too in Web3, which is more tougher than in Web2, I would say. The reason being because here there are a lot of scam situation can also happen, and your reputation is also will be on the stake always, right? Where you cannot go and offer something to the people who are future scammers, who might convert into future scammers, and there is no legal way to protect yourself. So in order to like, when you guys start looking into those startups, what are the things you guys look into? Is the team, is the thesis, is the idea, is the product? What are the core areas you emphasize on? So let's say tomorrow, if somebody wants to raise a fund from Long Hash, how exactly what they should be thinking about, what these guys will be looking into?
We look at generally 5 things. We look at the team, we look at the idea, we'll look at the competitive positioning, the traction, and then whether they've done any prior, kind of fundraise or so, right? When we look at those 5 dimensions, I would say that the most important one by far is the team. And there's a few reasons for that. Number one is that given how technically complex the Web3 space is, we want to see a strong technical background. Now, it doesn't mean that you need 10, 20 years of experience as a software developer or engineer. But, we like to see folks that come from a background having studied computer science, potentially having joined, like a big tech firm as an engineer or developer, right? So that's one. Ideally, we want to see, if possible, some domain expertise. So for example, if you are solving for credit scoring in Web3, then at least one of the 2 founders should have some kind of knowledge or background in that space, right? Or at least something around, like actuarial science or so, something that gives us the confidence that they understand the problem they're solving. And you can say this about anything, right? You could say about this about music NFTs, you can say it about DeFi, about gaming, etc. The second one, I would say, comes in down to the idea. And I think that first of all, we, regardless of the accelerator fund, we always go for what do we like to call Web3 native ideas or solutions, right? What I mean by that is, are you solving a problem that can only be solved with some kind of Web3 solution, whether it's infrastructure or it's middleware or it's an application? Is it something that you need a blockchain, to solve? What's important is, one, making sure that the founders are aware that they might have competition, and then what's their value proposition, right? How do they make it different? How is their solution going to be? Will it stand out, from other stuff? And I think the last are pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, traction, we look at, users, partnerships, etc. Again, the fund would look at this in quite a bit of detail. The accelerator, generally, because we have teams that are applying very much with like a concept, maybe like an MVP. So, if there's any traction, it's great, but if there's none, it's also okay. And then the fundraising, we also see, like, have you won any hackathons? Have you won grants? Do you have some angels? What does that look like? But I would say that one is a smaller part of the whole framework of assessment.
That is quite deep. I believe if any one of the builders will be watching this particular portion of the episode, they should definitely take a deep dive into like whatever you have spoken.